in the Kentucky Derby. And they're into the stretch.
It's Secretariat moving away. He has it by 2.5.
It's Sonny's Halo. He's going to win it. Sonny's Halo wins the left.
And here comes the hero, charging through on the inside. Gary
Funny side at 12-1, wins it by a length.
Orb has won the Kentucky Derby.
Here comes Forte. Here comes Forte. Forte wins.
And they're into the stretch.
Here's Tappet Trice. Tappet Trice wins the
James Barnes, undefeated, ready for 3.
Angel of Empire wins the Arkansas Derby and wins it clear.
Two Phils is opening up here. What a performance, an impassioned run by Two Phils, who's drawing away with authority. Two Phils, brilliant.
Courtland Simmons with you here at the CS Racing Report, and as the great Jack Whitaker once said, it's the Kentucky Derby. The volume is turned all the way up, and everything's in capital letters, and as you look at the horses that are out and the horses that are in, 3 also eligibles, the question is, will we see a market crash like we did in 2022, where the top-end Beyer speed figure horses all crashed out with the exception of Epicenter and Zandon. Epicenter dropped back 2 points from his 102. Zandon, 98, ran a duplicate 98, couldn't do any better than his bluegrass effort. Had he run 4 or 5 points better versus the 7 to 10 points that many projected, myself included, to win, he would have beaten both Rich Strike and Epicenter in that race. Rich Strike ran a 101, making a 36-point improvement from conventional dirt, 17 points from his Jeff Ruby Stakes third place of 84 to win that Kentucky Derby at 81-1. So when you look at the field of horses with the 3 also eligibles and you break down the 20-horse field, you have the Mystery of Confidence game, the number 4. He hasn't run since the Rebel Stakes. Can you possibly plug him into your exotics? Is he a horse that you think that can win? The Japanese entry, you have Derma Sotogake, very impressive in the UAE Derby, which has a horrible history. Can he overcome that? He's going to come out of the 19. There are 14 horses in this field with speed or stalk and pounce tactics. So in theory, that's setting it up for the mid-pack and deep closers. When you look at this, the outside horses, Cyclone Mischief, Derma Sotogake, they're going to show speed. Verifying is going to be very important coming out of the 2 for him to break sharply to have a chance to be part of the first flight. In the meantime, horses like Angel of Empire and Forte or Fort, 14 and the 15. Angel of Empire is going to be smartly ridden by Flavian Pride. He's going to get a forward position. There's going to be a lot of speed. And then we're going to see if he can improve upon that 94 Beyer from the Arkansas Derby that a lot of people are high on him being able to do. As for Forte, he overcame trouble in the Florida Derby. He's going to have more real estate in the Kentucky Derby, but there are going to be more horses occupying it. It's going to be imperative for Irad Ortiz to get him in gear and put him in a position where he has a shot at the top of the stretch to improve on his 95 speed figure. He has dropped back in his last couple races from his Breeders' Cup Juvenile Century Mark Beyer of 100. Tappet Trice. For those who thought pre-draw that drawing the 5 or inside the 5 would compromise his chances, when you really look at it, it actually helps, because if Verifying breaks, he's going to be able to slide to the rail or a path or 2 off to get a ground-saving trip. Same for Two Phils. If Verifying misses the break, that's only going to enhance the 3 Two Phils and Tappet Trice's chances to navigate a trip in what's going to be a cavalry charge Kentucky Derby. And if either horse improves in any way, shape, or form on their Beyer speed figures, Tappet Trice at 99, Two Phils a field high 101, they're going to be a handful. They're going to at least hit the board, if not ultimately win the Kentucky Derby. You could easily go Kiss, keep it simple, stupid, and stick with the favorites, Forte or Fort, Tappet Trice, Angel of Empire, and Two Phils, and choose one of those as the Derby winner and fill out your Superfecta with the other 3, or diversify that group with the 2, the 8, the 9, which would be Verifying, Mage, and Skinner. I believe it's going to be a mix and match of contenders and outsiders. Take a look at these horses and look and see if there's something of value in there. Obviously, there is on the tote board. I'm looking at Mandarin Hero as the best of the also eligibles. You can also look at both Verifying and Hit Show, 2 of the 3 Brad Cox horses. I would pull the trigger on Confidence Game, but that layoff in the Rebel is somewhat of a concern, but he is a horse worth considering. Skinner was penciled into every Superfecta scenario prior to his scratch. Now that he's out of the race, numbers are revised, just horses moving up a notch and other individuals being slotted in. So the 14, the 3, and the 9, Skinner being the 9, being third in this set of Superfecta numbers, 14, 3, 9, 19, now changes to 14, 3, 19, and the 15, the favorite Forte. Didn't like him to hit the board, but he's in this set of numbers on the tail end of this super where Angel of Empire is on top. 14, 3, 19, 15. Then the 3, the 14, the 19, and Skinner being the 9 finishing fourth in this set of numbers with 2 fills on top now changes only slightly. The 3, the 14, the 19, and instead of the 9, the 2. Verifying if he can avoid being trapped on the inside, he may be able to hit the board. 3, 14, 19, 2. Verifying on the tail end. 2 fills on top of that Superfecta. Then Tapatrice wasn't a win bet for me. This is where Skinner was a win bet, 9-5-7-3. Now it changes with Skinner being scratched to Tapatrice as a win bet. The 5, the 7, the 3, and the 8. Mage holding up the tail end of that Superfecta. Or if you'd like to flip the script, then it's the 8, the 5, the 7, and the 3 with Mage on top and 2 fills on the tail end of that Superfecta if you believe Mage can make that monster middle move and maintain that going 1.25 miles, being a more fit horse on the first Saturday in May. And then the 2 home run Superfecta bets remain intact. I'm going to take a shot with Derma Sotogake. The 17, the 7, instead of the 17, the 9, the 7, and the 1, now it changes to the 17, the 7, the 1, and the 4, that being Confidence Game, a horse that I didn't want to push the button on with the long layoff, but I've inserted him into this set of numbers, 17, 7, 1, 4. The alternative 4th place is the 14 Angel of Empire with Derma Sotogake on top. And then, of course, the big home run, Reincarnate, the 7, trained by Tim Yakteen, ridden by Johnny Velasquez, who I think is going to ride him smartly. I think he drew well. He's going to sit off the speed and be right in that early first flight if he breaks sharply. So it goes from the 7, the 14, the 9, and the 17 with Skinner finishing third there with him out. Now it's the 7, the 14, the 17, and the 2. Once again using Verifying on the tail end of that Superfecta with Reincarnate on top. So those are the revised picks for the 149th Kentucky Derby from Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky.